I've been struck by how interesting it is that CEOs of large telephone companies, especially mobile phone companies, large retailers, large banks, are interested in the subject of APIs.
There's a digital revolution going on at the moment. That's most obvious in retail. You see it over the Christmas results from last Christmas of those that are able to do well in that space are making lots of money, and those that are failing to do well in that space are going out of business.
For the most part, in the past, information technology has tended to be something that other people did for them and they didn't really worry too much about it. But now, it's not hard to find in the business press the CEOs speaking out about how important they think it is that their company has an effective strategy for delivering APIs as part of enabling their business strategy in the digital space.
In the past, it's all been about size. So if you take retail and you go to any shopping mall anywhere in the world, it's almost all the same stores these days, and they've got to that level by being big. They've got the same experience that you have in each store, they've got the same supply chains, etc., etc., etc.
And historically, size was a big advantage. So despite the underlying complexity of the IT portfolio, the supply chain advantages for a large retailer meant that you could bring more selection of products at a lower price to your customers, and you could push other players out of the space and take increasing market share.
But there's new upstarts like Amazon and PayPal that are pure play digital companies that are able to upset this established philosophy. So how have they done that? Well, they are able to adapt to the digital revolution faster than the big companies because they're pure play digital companies, and therefore they've got first mover advantage.
So now that the digital revolution has started to unfold and these large companies see what the digital upstarts are accomplishing, they look at that and they say, how can we get some of that? And they see the answer as APIs, but they don't necessarily understand the details of exactly how that's going to be accomplished. And frankly, it's quite challenging.
Ultimately, that race will be won by both scale and agility. So the race is still wide open of who's going to end up winning this.
Hello, I'm Mike Gilpin with DigitalML, and I recently joined after a 15-year career at Forrester Research, where I was responsible for leading research on application software delivery and architecture. In my time at Forrester, I had an opportunity to work with a number of large organizations that faced this challenge of how do they leverage their size and continue to have that advantage of size in their market while at the same time becoming more agile and innovative. And many of these organizations have struggled for years with building up significant amounts of technical debt that accumulates across many different layers of data and applications. And the end result of that is they find it very challenging to integrate those things together in order to deliver consistent omni-channel experiences. They've tried many different technology solutions over the years. They've had a variety of different, typically IT-led initiatives to implement those different approaches to integration. But in the end, most of them have come to naught, have not really delivered any value. So it was with great interest when I found that some of our clients were working with DigitalML, were working with Ignite in order to deliver a much more effective approach to integration with a portfolio of APIs and services, that I leaped at the chance to join DigitalML because I think we have a really unique opportunity to help these firms accomplish their goal of becoming a more digital business. Now, how do you do that? Well, a portfolio of APIs and services, if it's going to really effectively deliver an omni-channel experience, has to deliver consistent information, consistent outcomes, channel-optimized experiences, and friction-free commerce. And you can't accomplish those goals at random. You have to have a really very particular approach to the way you manage the service design lifecycle.
We must have worked with and spoken to virtually all of the Fortune 1000 size enterprises in this space. And one common theme that came out of that exercise was that as these enterprises embark down the journey of building their API and service portfolios, they tend to underestimate the eventual size that that portfolio will get to. And as a result of that, they tend to spend not enough time focusing on what happens at the design time in building out these services. And as a consequence, many of the initial efforts end up in frustration. The business is frustrated because these services take too long to build because there's so many manual steps in that process. And the services that are built tend to be inconsistent and very project specific, and rather than solving the actual issue of data chaos, they may be compounding the issue by creating new silos of technical debt. So we identified that there's this gap at the design time, and that's why we decided to build the Ignite Service Design platform. And we've done that working very closely with our customer base as a set of partner customers. And what they've told us is not only what that service design lifecycle is, but what the 3 success criteria are for such a platform. The first thing is that they must be business-led. And by that, I mean that they must be conceived of and initially built by the business and then handed over to IT for implementation, and not the other way around. Secondly, they have to be built rapidly. This is a race, and getting speed is all about automation and reuse. And thirdly, governance is key, but governance in a way that doesn't slow down the process. If you get governance right, you can actually speed up the process by driving reuse. So with these 3 criteria met, you then get to an effective portfolio of services, and in turn, that effective portfolio of services helps our customers to win the race of the digital revolution.